Hello, it's the Gemini again. In this video, we will be taking a look at the Master Grade Gundam Epyon. Before we start, I want to say thanks to all the new subscribers. We're now halfway from the 500 sub goal, so please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos so the YouTube gods would recommend them to more new people. Anyway, this is one of my very first Master Grades and I really want to show it to you guys. The Gundam Epyon comes from the Gundam Wing universe, and this specific version of the Epyon comes from the Endless Waltz manga. This kit was released by Bandai in 2011. This side of the box has the usual front and rear view of the built kit, shows us the mobile armor mode, which looks interesting but questionable at the same time. And no, we sadly don't get an action base in the box. We have some other gimmicks here. And here is the listed model information, but the descriptions are in Japanese, so I'm sorry I can't tell you guys about that. On this other side of the box, we can see the Epyon in a dynamic action pose, and pretty much the majority of this side of the box is just some info of the Endless Waltz mangas. Again in Japanese, so I can't tell you about it. And finally in the corner here, we can see its release price is 4,800 yen, so that's around 2,400 pesos. We have the manual. The cover looks pretty good. In my opinion, it looks even better than the box art. The white background makes the Epyon design pop so much more. So again, this version of the Epyon is from the manga Endless Waltz Frozen Teardrop, so the design is kind of different from what you would have seen in the TV show. Might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, but I'm actually a fan of modernized Gundam designs. We have some more text there in Japanese. The parts list isn't that long. And it's pretty good that there aren't that many crossed out pieces in this kit, so we don't really have any wasted plastic in here. Instructions. More stuff about the Epyon that I can't read. More instructions. The marking guide. And at the back we have the front and rear view again. Painting guides. And some panel lining tips. This kit comes with a dry transfer sheet, a small foil sticker sheet, and a regular marking sticker sheet. I went on ahead and put some of those stickers on just to see how they look. And this is what the Epyon looks like all built up. So yeah, this looks like a more stylistic and modernized version of the Epyon. Looks sleeker than the bulky drawings from the TV show. Part separation is pretty good. Color correction is just for the sensors, so having a straight out of the box build of this kit would look pretty good. Personally, I really like the dragon aesthetic that the Epyon has, plus the non-white base color gives it a really nice red comet variation vibe to it. The small yellow detailing also brings out more of the overall design. All in all, I approve of the appearance of this Gundam Epyon. For the accessories that this kit has, we have the heat rod. It's attached to the shield and you can try to have them all locked up. But these segments have somewhat of a fragile plastic and I've actually already broken 2 of those segments, so I tend to leave them in the more dynamic whippy style. The shield just attaches on the back of the arm and voila! We also have this really big beam saber. It has a wire and it attaches on the side skirt via this thing. The Epyon can hold it with his grabby hands, and if you want it deactivated, you can just pull out the wire and shove it in that circular thing. We have some swappable fingers, holding fingers, fists, and dynamic expressive fingers. We have 2 base adapters, one for mobile suit mode, and one for the mobile armor mode. And we have a standing pilot figure of Zex Marquise. Not many accessories, but it's nice that you can have everything on the mobile suit all at once. For the articulation, I'll show you the backpack separately from the mobile suit, and I'll be taking the weapons off first. Starting with the head, it can go way up because there's a really good combination of a ball joint at the base of the neck and a hinge at the top. Tilts aren't too bad either. I don't know what you would want it for, but you can turn the head all the way around. The shoulder joint rotates, but if you have the backpack on, it definitely would get in the way of that. If you line it up properly, the shoulder joint can let you cross the arm pretty far. Shoulder armor is kind of independent. The arm can go out to the side this high up. Upper arm can swivel, but you have to be careful of that because if you twist it too many times, it has the tendency to loose up and come off. Even with a bulky shoulder and forearm, there's still a pretty good elbow bend. And the claws here can come out from the wrist, but that's for the transformation, which I'll be showing later. Normal ball jointed wrist and thumb. The fingers are the swappable type. The torso has a ball joint at its base, not much for crunching and back bends, but I think that's good since the backpack is pretty heavy. Some side to side movement, which makes the torso kinda weak when the weapons are attached. And you can't really rotate the body that much. The cockpit opens, but you won't really see Zek's marquees in there. Skirt armor are all in ball joints, and this is the extent of trying to get them out of the way. No problems here except for the front skirt. When you put them too high, the armor pieces pop off. Leg can get this high before the front skirt pops off. Has a pretty good split, not full but it's still okay. Thigh swivel is also pretty good. Knee bend is very good. There's a lot of stuff going on with the lower leg. The leg extends and it gives it another hinge joint, but that's more for the transformation. Ankle can move just a bit side to side, not very dynamic for ground poses, but I guess the Epyon should really be in the air anyway. The foot points up pretty far, although not so much down, but it's made up for this really good toe bend. There are actually some mouths in the feet, but that's also for the transformation. And then we have these fins that hinge like so. There are actually supposed to be fins on the side of the leg, but I lost one, so I just leave the other one off. The wings hinges here and here. We have some ball jointed stuff here, and we also have this gimmick for the wing. They spread out a bit further, giving the wings a more dynamic look, rather than just being wide static wing things. If you make use of everything, you can get some pretty nice poses. The Epyon does have some iffy parts like the leaning torso and the popping front skirts, but if you push through that, you can get some really nice and dynamic action poses. Just take note that majority of action poses would be better off done on an action base because the wings are heavy and you'll have to work a lot to balance him out. When I have him in some ground poses, they're usually just a normal standby pose. It is possible to make the Epyon look dynamic on the ground, but you just have to really put in the work. So overall, I think you'll be satisfied having the Epyon on your shelf. Just try to get yourself an action base. Now let's get this guy into mobile armor mode. So here we have the mobile armor mode. Pretty cool that it's a twin-headed dragon. The process of getting it into this mode is simple yet difficult. Shifting those parts kind of feel dangerous. Gotta be careful when you do this so you don't break anything. In terms of aesthetics, it looks fine from above, but looks pretty weird from below. Say hello, guys. I guess there's not much to expect since it's literally just a folded up Gundam. But yeah, it's nice that the option is there. But unless you really want to display the Epyon in this mode, it's better to stay away from transforming it to avoid breaking anything. It doesn't really do much in mobile armor mode except for spreading the wings or moving around the dragon heads. Overall, the mobile armor mode isn't all that great for me, so I usually just keep my Epyon in mobile suit mode. So for me, the Gundam Epyon is a really interesting design, and this master grade kit does a good job of giving a satisfying tangible interpretation of it. Sure, it has some weak points, but it's not really anything to outweigh the satisfaction of having this on your shelf. It might not sit well for those looking for the TV version of the Gundam, but if you don't mind the modernized design, this kit should trigger some nostalgia and be very well worth it. And yeah, get yourself an action base. Again, I want to say thanks to all the new subscribers. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye!